Hey everybody, David Burns with you again today. 2 videos in 1 week. I'm on the ball. Good to be with you again today. Please subscribe and click on the bell so you'll be notified each time I do make a new video. Today we're going to get into a hive like many of you have. A hive with a queen excluder and 3 supers, hopefully full, above that queen excluder. We're going to have to remove those supers and we're going to have to remove the queen excluder and start getting that hive ready for winter. Got a bunch of them like this, but I'm going to show you one in particular, just how to do it. Before I do though, I got something in the mail. Look at this. So I'm going to use my, I actually got this knife as a gift. It's a Kershaw and a spring assist, very sharp, dangerously sharp. So we're going to take a look and see what this is. I can tell it's from a YouTube subscriber based on a few characteristics. So let's go ahead and see what it is. I have a suspicion, as you do, that it is indeed, look at this, another coffee mug. Wow. This looks interesting. Oh, it's got a bee on it. Look at that. That's beautiful. Got a note inside. Wow. That's pretty fancy. David, enjoy watching your videos. Always seems to provide a bit of new information. I've been beekeeping on and off since a teenager in the 60s. Things sure have changed over time. The cup was made by one of my clients who also has cats that I treat. Must be a veterinarian. I have informed her where it was going for a great cause. Keep up the good work. He's also a ham radio operator. Whiskey Alpha 6, Victor Bravo Hotel. I'll have to see if I can find him on ham radio. That is a beautiful cup. Wow. I love it. It's even got the imprint of hexagon comb on it. Wow, so nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, we'll be filling this up in a little bit and having coffee time. After we get into that hive and we're going to take those 3 supers off and the queen excluder, get it ready for winter, I'll come back for a coffee time in my new coffee mug. And today I want to talk to you about how to reward yourself when you have to do difficult tasks. But before we do that, let's jump in and get to work on a hive. So the first thing I do in the fall before I start working a hive is I want to give them a community feeder, and this will attract bees that are scout bees looking for a hive to rob out. So I want to lure them over here. I've got some sugar water and some protein water mixed up, so I can set this up a couple hours before I work my colony, and that way I get less robbers in my hive when I have it opened up. You really need to get the smoker going really good in the fall when you're making inspections, just to ward off robbers. And all the bees are home except the ones maybe we've lured out to our community feeding system. So there's a lot of bees at home. So we want to get the smoker going really well. And have extra smoker fuel too. Keep that thing going. So this hive, particular hive here, has a queen excluder here. And then it's got these 3 supers. Now I don't know if all these supers are full. I'm going to smoke the entrance. I'm hoping that they're full because I'd like to get some honey off this hive. So we'll just have to wait and see. I was expecting it to be softer than that. It is around 65 degrees right now, but since I'm not pulling any brood out, I'm just going for honey supers. Not too worried about it. Because everything is so cold, I think it got down to 49 degrees last night when I woke up this morning. And this hive is in the shade in the afternoon. And so the propolis, sticky stuff you see here, it is hard because it gets harder at colder temperatures. Makes it extremely challenging to work a hive that has a lot of propolis on it when that propolis gets very, very hard and sticky. I got my bee brush ready. I'm gonna do some brushing off of some bees and some beetles. This hive especially has had a problem with beetles this year. And it's been trying to maintain existence alongside of the beetles, but the beetles are not giving up. Some years I have a lot of beetles, some years I don't have hardly any beetles. I've gone several years with minimal beetles, and I've gone some years with a lot of beetles. It's just luck of the draw. You can also get the bees off by just taking them and doing that. There's a lot of different ways to get bees off of your honey frames, and some of you are probably thinking your way is better than mine. But this is probably how most backyard beekeepers would do it. When I had more hives than I have now, I used to have a lot of different ways that I would get. I would just take the whole super off, air blow it with compressors, but this is just easy for me to brush the bees off, do it a frame at a time. Oh, it's working out pretty good. Really beautiful stuff, isn't it? Nothing is more beautiful in the beekeeping yard than that. A frame of capped over honey. And I'm putting it over here in another super box that I have, an empty one, stacking them in there. I'm working with my gloves on because inevitably this can cause a little bit of the bees to get excited. You're robbing their honey, so you're kind of like a big black bear, a big brown bear taking all their honey or something. And so you want to have things, you want to have all of your protective gear on so that if things do get to going kind of bad on you, you'll be able to control it. I can tell already I didn't know how many of these supers would have all capped frames in it, but so far this one looks like it's going to be capped all the way. So I want to show you something, particularly about this frame. So if you look at this frame on this side, you'll see different colors of nectar, and that's mainly exactly what it is. A darker nectar here, lighter nectar here. Sometimes the wax cappings get a little more saturated. It could be that. The comb sometimes itself gets a little more tracked, gets a little more darker than the comb in the middle, but usually it's stained by either the pollen that was in there or the nectar that was a little darker. A little bit of honey on this one, but not as much. And look how they just did the center part of this one and not so much the edges. Why? Why, you ask? I have no idea. I don't know, but it's a perfect little rectangle. The frame next to it is not that way. It might be how they drew out the comb. It could be that they left that those drone cells open in case there was a queen that wanted to lay up in there. Could be a lot of different reasons. This one is much more normal looking on both sides. I'm just going to throw this in front of the hive like that. It gets all the bees off of it. And then we'll go get it in just a minute. Let's go get our super that we bounced the bees off of in front of the hive. Retrieve that now. And use it to put our frames in that we take out. I'm picking up the pace at how I'm working because I want to get done. It won't take long before the bees finally say, okay, we're tired of this. Especially banging it like that. But it is called robbing honey, so it can generate some defensive bees when you rob their honey out of their hive. That's why you want to keep smoking them. Lots of smoke, lots of smoke. So we have 2 frames on there that the bees are hanging on to. Look at that, a lot of bees. Okay, let's just set this without disturbing those bees. We'll set all of that right there for a second. Use your smoke to smoke the bees off of and away from the queen excluder that you're about to remove. I do like the plastic queen excluders. I know some people don't. I used metal ones for years, but I don't know. Plastic ones aren't too bad for me. People don't like plastic ones because of this reason right here. They're harder to take off sometimes with all the propolis. And when you do, you flick bees everywhere. I get that. Yeah, it wasn't too bad though. All right, so now we want to put our honey super back on that we took off the top one. And it's back here. And it's so heavy, it hurts my back to lift. Whew. There we go. This hive has a lot of bees in it. Okay, so the question is, I've got these 2 frames over here with a lot of bees on them. What do I do with them? Well, do I have any frames in here that have nothing at all on them that I could take out and swap with the 2 that might have a little bit more? So let's go ahead and look at this one. To me it seems light, not as heavy maybe as the other one, but I could be wrong, and I'm wrong, so let's leave that there. All right, so now we're just going to not worry about the 2 frames as far as putting them back in the hive, but we need to get the bees off and all these bees back in here that are on this super. And let me show you what I mean. See this? I got a lot of bees on these 2 frames. So how's the best way to get them off of there? I think the best way is to start smoking some off where we can take that frame out. Yeah, that'll work. One thing that I want to tell you about beekeepers is, as a beekeeper, you're really nothing more than a problem solver. So you just got to figure out, what do I do next? How do I solve this problem? So for me, it's an easy fix. I'm just going to take this frame of bees, set it down alongside of the hive for just a second while I do the same on the other side. All right. I'm making a place for my hive tool that will help me remove this frame by moving the bees off with a smoker. And then I go in here Yeah, just get it like that where you can get a hold of it. I don't want to bang those bees off yet. Let's do all of this banging at one time, you know. In fact, let's don't really bang anything just yet. How about this? How about we just start brushing the bees into the hive? I've got a lot of my opposite of my camera. So let me move my camera so you can see what I'm doing. All right. So I think what I'm going to do here is just try to get those down into the hive by brushing them, moving them. That worked pretty good. Ooh, we'll do the same on the other side. All right. We got most of them off of the outside of the super, which allows us now to get them off of the inside of the super by doing something like this. Yeah, that was good. All right. Now we got 2 frames, remember? 2 frames full of bees. What do you do in a case like that? That's why you want to do this last, because it will create a lot of bees in the air, and it could create unhappy feelings. So this is going to be the last thing we do before we put our top cover on. Our top cover is there. So we're going to do both frames at the same time, like this. And this is going to get the bees off of these 2 frames. So you can see how it could make them unhappy, but it's not too bad. Put them back there. Now we're ready for our top cover. Let's get some bees off of the rim so we don't kill bees around the top. They will move. I'll put it on kind of slow. There we go. Boom. Now I gotta break my back, and I've got to carry all of these supers here into my harvesting room before the bees find it and start taking it away. Well, those 2 partial frames that we didn't know what to do with, I've found a place for them back here. Look at that. Whenever you do this, never put these frames near your hives. Have them at least 25 yards, 75 to 100 feet away from your hives, or it will create a robbing frenzy in the fall if you put anything like this. Also, never feed your hives with an entrance feeder in the fall, because it will induce robbing. Always feed your bees on top, the top feeder, or a community feeder far away like this. All right, well, we got that over with. Got some honey off, got the hive kind of shored up a little bit closer to being ready for winter. Now we're going to put a feeding system on. I'll let them settle down for a few days, and I'll put my feeding system on with 2 jars. And I'll feed them for many, many weeks, probably at least a month, I would say, before I had to put my winter bee kind on there. But they're gonna do really good. A lot of bees in there, and they made a lot of good honey for me. So I hope that was helpful for you. It's kind of the 3rd part in this series of how to get your bees ready for winter. But by all means, do not trust and get all your information from the internet. I really encourage you, not from YouTube, not from me, I really encourage you to take my overwinter class, Getting Your Bees Through the Winter, where I go into much more details and answer those difficult questions about, should I leave my bottom board open? Should I close it off? Should I wrap my hive? Should I leave a super on? Should I take a super off? How fast do winter bee kinds how fast are they eaten? How much honey should I leave on the hive? How do I treat for mites? How do I get bees of winter physiology? What is vitellogenesis? How do I make that happen in my hive? I just don't have time to do that. So be sure and take that class. I'll put a link down below for you to take that class. By the way, if you want to sign up for Bee Team 6, which is my mentorship program where you can actually call me, text me, email me with questions personally, if you sign up for 6 months of that membership, you get the winter class free. So it's a class that you can take. It's an online course, my videos that you can take from the comfort of your home, on your own pace, on your own time. It's yours forever to enjoy. And so you'll want to watch it in the next few weeks so you can ready your bees up for winter. You put a lot of work into your bees. Let's get them ready for winter. Man, I love this coffee mug so much. Thanks for sending that to me. I really find it beautiful and fascinating. Wow. Oh, by the way, some of you asked me the coffee that I drink. I'm trying a whole bunch of different coffee. Today's coffee is from Tanzania. It is actually Tanzanian coffee. I actually brought the bag out here. I actually bought it at a coffee shop. Friends of our family actually own the coffee shop. It's located in Danville, Illinois. It's called Mad Goat Coffee. And so this, you can see the coffee that I'm drinking today. And these are green beans, by the way. I roast my own, these are green beans, coffee beans. I roast them, and then every day I grind them so they're fresh. I really do believe in fresh coffee. When I was in Monrovia, Liberia, Africa, right after the Civil War ended there, and I asked for a cup of coffee, and they brought me a cup about this big, and it was so strong and thick. It's like they took a whole pot of coffee and condensed it down and poured it into a tiny little cup. I mean, you could add a gallon of water, and I don't think it would be as strong as my coffee is. And I like strong coffee, don't get me wrong. I really like it, really, really strong. But it was strong. Now, it was good. Did I drink it all? I think I did, but it's like immediately I had heart palpitations. Not really, but I mean, it felt like I was just, wow, it's a lot of caffeine just in one little shot of coffee. But it was good. So some of you have mentioned on YouTube comments that you have tried coffee from different parts of the world, and it's been a lot of fun for you, and that is cool, isn't it? I know. Hey, today I want to talk to you in coffee time about rewarding yourself. I want to tell you something. When I was in a different career, I had to do very difficult things that were challenging and emotional. And the only way I could rise above all that is I had to reward myself when I accomplished the task. Because if I didn't, I think I would have gone berserk. It was too difficult to experience some of the things that I experienced. So, but if I continued to reward myself as a job well done, then it really helped me. When I accomplished things, it was just viewed as my job. So it wasn't, I was supposed to be humble about it and the greater cause and all that. And I am a humble person, but you still have to find some way to stay sane when you do difficult things. And by rewarding yourself, you have to do it. And it's okay to reward yourself. It really is. Look, sometimes you're the only person that knows what you're going through and that knows how difficult it can be. So you need to love and respect and be kind to you. I want you to start treating you better. And I want you to reward you when you do things. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you're taking care of your children and it's, hard, during COVID, you may have all your children at home and you're trying to help them with schoolwork online and all. Oh my gosh, that's got to be so challenging, doesn't it? And so at the end of the day, you need to reward yourself. Some of you are like, I reward myself. I crack open a bottle of wine. Yeah, he knows what's going on at my house. And that's the only way I can make through it. Well, hey, sometimes you've got to do things like that. Find a way to really feel good at the end of the day when you accomplish a task to reward yourself. I think we all do that to some degree. Some people come home and mow the yard. It's rewarding to kind of, after a hard day at work, you relax, you're on your mower, the humming of the mower going, and it's relaxing. You have a nice cold beer to relax with, or a cigar or something like that. As long as we do things like this that are in moderation, it's a way of just relaxing and not being stressed out all the time. I read somewhere and heard something that the health issues that we have are about 90% caused from stress. And I know that's not always the case, but we all know that stress is very harmful to us. Very harmful. Got to find a way to relax. Many of you are keeping bees to help you relax. And then you go do what I just did and it's stressful. All these bees everywhere. I really was not stressed out working that colony with all those bees everywhere. I just had a job to do. I tackled it. I chose how I was going to do it. And now that it's over, I'm rewarding myself with a great cup of coffee and a great coffee mug, talking to great people. That's fun. I knew I would have this moment when all of that work there was done. So this is my reward that I'm getting, all right? No one else is gonna reward me for that, but I'm gonna reward myself. So I want you to look at yourself and say, I deserve to be treated better than I think I'm treated. And the person that's gonna treat you better needs to start with you. You need to start treating yourself better. Start appreciating what you're doing. Encourage yourself. It doesn't mean you're not humble. It doesn't mean you're a braggart or anything. No, it just means that, look, you got to believe in yourself. You got to treat yourself good. You got to really look at yourself and say, I like that person. It's okay to do that. I think we're taught not to do that because it sounds like we're arrogant or something. No, you need to look into the mirror and say, that's not a bad person. That's a pretty darn good person right there. They should be proud of what they do. And they're going to do it again tomorrow with great excitement, enthusiasm, and pleasure. And when it's done, they're going to get rewarded for it. So I want you to think about ways to have a better view of yourself. I'm not talking self-esteem. I'm not talking about, I don't want to get too psycho babbling on about things like that, but I just want to be simply talking to you about believe in yourself more. Be better to you in the things that you accomplish. Feel better about yourself. I know it's not overnight, but you can take baby steps and say, I like what David's saying. It's okay to look in the mirror and say, that's not a bad person. It's a pretty doggone good person. For all I've been through, I'm still standing. And I think what I do and what I've done, doggone it, is good stuff. I'm proud of where I am. I'm proud of what I've been through. Am I proud of everything I've done? Have I not made mistakes? You know, none of us are perfect. We've all made mistakes and we've done things we're not proud of. That's in the past. Let's start in the future. Let's live in the present and let's just get focused on rewarding ourselves. Even for the simple tasks, the difficult tasks, even the good tasks. Reward yourself. I've always been able to do that. I live with a very loving and supportive wife, but she has not always known extensively how difficult things have been for me. But when she does, she is totally supportive and encouraging of me. That's good too. I talked about that last week. Surround yourself with people that can encourage you. But sometimes we don't have those people. And the only person that we have is ourselves, and leaves are falling. So we have to reward ourselves. I've said it enough, but I just feel like I want to encourage you to do that. Well, thanks again for coffee time. You guys are great. I love hearing from you and your comments. A couple of things though I want to tell you. I've got bees that are still kind of aggravated that I went into their hive. They're like bopping me on the head and back of the head. They're trying to sting me now. I'm covering my face so I don't get stung in the face. Are they gone? It's like, it happens to him too, that one bee that just won't leave you alone. She's gone. I'm looking at it. They're settling down, but that was a lot of bees on it. But some of the things I want to tell you is that I cannot answer all the questions that you leave on YouTube, especially these beekeeping questions, because I don't know where you live, your climate. I don't know if you have 1 deep, 2 deeps. I don't know, what your hive is. Is it a top bar hive, a Langstroth? Don't tell me all that, because I've chosen not to answer, because to help you really know the answer to your question, I have to know too much information. And so you need a better mentor than just a quick answer on YouTube. So that's the reason I don't answer questions very often when you ask me. Now, if they're simple and easy and it makes sense what you're asking and it's going to take a sentence or less, I'll probably answer it. but I can't give beekeeping advice like that. I also do not allow other people on YouTube to answer your questions either, because I don't always trust answers from other people. I may not agree with them. And so I don't want other people to use my YouTube channel to help answer other people's questions, because sometimes wrong information is passed along, and I don't want to be responsible for that. I'd rather you continue to watch information that I provide or other reputable beekeepers provide, take classes, get a base of information down. So don't hate me because I'm not answering every question you ask me. I know we're very personal in this kind of a setting, so many of you show up and you feel like you've known me for a lifetime. I appreciate that. It really means a lot to me. But there's a lot of ways that you can learn from me rather than just the occasional videos that I produce. So please take advantage of those. It helps me out, and most of all, it helps you out, okay? So check out my online courses, my mentorship program that you can become a part of, and you can get more information from me probably than you can stand, okay? So do that. Be sure and subscribe. Now it's almost October, November, December. So we basically have 3 full months to reach 50,000, and we're sitting a hair below 47. So we need 3,000 more of you to subscribe to make 50,000 by the end of the year. And who cares, but it's just a good goal to have, fun things to do, and helps the algorithm on YouTube, all right? All right, so that's it, folks. Thanks for joining me today. It's cold. I'm gonna go back inside and try to get warm. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.